now we're being joined by Tinu Lawal, a media consultant and cancer survivor. She's the founder of Atinuke Cancer Foundation, which aims at raising awareness about cancer. I'm so happy that you can join us, Tinu.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Tinu
Lawal. Let me just say, we thank God that you are here with us.
Thank you.
And we hope that you will be an inspiration to others who are going through this journey to see that you can still look like this.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I think she said she lost her hair, everything, and it's
yes.
grown back beautifully.
Yes, when you go through chemo, your hair falls off, everything falls off, yeah.
But what I want to ask you, you were happy-go-lucky, everything was going well for you, you were in your 40s, you had your kids.
Yeah, I had 2
kids. At the time, and the sky was the limit as far as you were concerned.
It was.
But when you heard the news of the dreaded C, what reverberated through you? How did you feel when you had it? And what was the most difficult part of your journey to recovery?
Good one.
Thank you. It was a very, very devastating time for me. It was the last thing I expected. Before this time, like you said, I was a happy-go-lucky kind of person. I was missed by Elsa during my NYSC. I was a media consultant. I had my own private studio, and I was a film editor. I represented West Africa in a train-the-trainer course in Germany. That was the kind of person I was. I was a bubbly person. But when this happened, it was like my world crashed before me.
Nothing prepared you for it, right?
No. Because I'd always been a very elder person. The only times I went to the hospital then was when I was having my children. And that was the last time I think I went to the hospital. So at that time, I think my second child was she was 11.
Wow.
Already, yes. So I hadn't been to the hospital in a very long time. Unfortunately, it was at a time when, what's this disease called? The one we had before COVID.
Ebola.
Ebola, yeah.
It was
about that time. And we had that Ebola was from the hospital. So for me, the hospital was the last place I wanted to go to. I was just in the house that day, and somehow my hand went there, and I felt a lump, which had never been a part of my body. Nope. I don't even know.
How did the lump feel? Was it hard?
Cherry.
It's usually not painful.
I love cherries.
We've heard it feels like seeds. It feels like
not the seed. I'm not talking about the seed right now. I'm talking about cherry itself.
Yeah.
So
it could be
it's
a
not
bit soft.
particularly hard. It's not soft.
Yeah. I know.
It's
but
because
as
it's
big as cherry or as
small as a seed? It wasn't as big. I'm just talking about the texture now. So that was what I felt. And when I felt this, of course, I'd heard that cancer starts as a lump. But at that time, I didn't want to believe that it was cancer. In fact, I never thought about it to myself. But I was very, very scared. For 3 days, I couldn't touch my body again.
After the third day,
no. You would not. It was just something you felt.
What's the size of this lump?
It was just slightly bigger than the peanut.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the size.
It wasn't so big. But it wasn't part of my body. It was definitely not part of my body. I'd never felt that
before. And it
before.
didn't move. It was just in that one stationary position.
Well, no, it wasn't rolling around.
Yes,
But of course, if you try to push, it will definitely move along with your hand, that kind of thing. But it wasn't like it was rolling around. No, it wasn't like that.
How did you navigate this? Tell us about the cost process
That's
too.
I'm going to tell you that. So when I found that 3 days after, I was thinking it would have, fizzled out or something like that. Yes. But by the third day, it was still there. So I went online and I Googled. This was in 2014.
Okay. And
Google said it could either be benign or cancerous. Of course, because I don't fall ill and because cancer is not my portion, like we used to say, I assumed mine was benign. It was something that would just leave after a while. But I wasn't going to the hospital because at that time it was a no-go area because of the Ebola. But I waited for 3 months when Nigeria was certified free of Ebola. And I went to the only doctor that I knew then, who was the one that delivered my baby, the gynecologist that I knew. And he felt it and he was like, okay, go to a mammogram. And we went and I did a mammogram. Apparently, the mammogram said benign.
Wow.
They tried severally,
serious?
I'm telling you, they even did a scan and everything, and they gave me the results as benign. But the advice that I should not leave it because it's not part of my body. I should just try and get it out. I should look for a doctor to get it out and all that because it's not part of my body. So I said,
So
okay.
you left there thinking you didn't have
Oh
cancer?
yeah, I was. Yeah, I
That
left there
happened to
thinking.
a friend of mine,
Yeah,
and it was cancer.
I did.
But there's a lump there still that she needs
Yes.
to
that I needed to
remove.
take off. But of course, it wasn't
And you did
cancer as
that?
far as I was concerned, and I just wanted to remove it. So I went, and then I got, directed to some surgeon who never bothered to do to check me. They just did a kind of PP and just put me in the theater. It was a public hospital. It was a
They didn't bother to check whether it was cancer or not either.
They didn't bother to. They wouldn't check whether it's cancer. His own job was to take it out.
Okay,
But
just
he
take it
should
out.
have actually examined me or do some kind of biopsies or something before then. He didn't do that. So they just put me in a theater because they needed to do PP with the theater, and then they did a lumpectomy. And when they did that, of course, they had collected far more than I was supposed to even pay in the hospital. And they were doing it privately.
This was all here in Nigeria?
This was all here in Nigeria. I'm going to cover the name of the hospital. I'm not going because it's going to be quite messy.
No, I'm curious to find out.
No, it happens here in Nigeria, so I'm not going to say more than that.
That's
that's
no
all.
libel,
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah. So
go on.
I'm going to. So the moment. So as soon as I got finished, I was still very, very weak. I actually I wasn't put to sleep. I saw everything, and I told them to do a recording with my phone that I would like to see it and all that. Thank God they listened, they helped me to do the recording. And after we were done, they put it in, those takeaway packs that they used to eat amala at the local
No
whatever.
way.
Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. This was in a general hospital. So they put the specimen in it and told me to take it to Mikio. Eventually, let me fast forward. I went to
Yes, exactly, because we're
Mikio,
running
and
out of
Mikio
time.
said
Okay.
I should give him like 2 weeks to get the
I
result and all
can't
that.
imagine what those 2 weeks must have been like for you.
It wasn't anything because I assumed it was
Okay, because
benign.
you assumed
it was
Yes,
just
it was
to remove
benign.
it,
I just
right.
wanted to recover from
Okay.
the surgery and then forget about
So
it.
what was the feedback there before we moved?
By the time I went to, Mikio, they gave me the result. They'll put it in an envelope, they seal it, and they tell you, take it to your doctor. So the only doctor I was going to take it to was a guy
The
that
same
did
doctor
the
that had told
surgery.
you
That did the
initially that it
surgery.
was benign.
Yeah, that told me it was not the one
that did the surgery?
It was a
Okay,
lab.
the doctor that did the surgery.
It was a lab that
Okay.
told me it was benign.
Okay,
The
okay.
the guy that did the surgery was the one that gave me the specimen
yes,
to
yes,
take
yes.
for histopathology. So I
Okay.
took it to for histopathology and Mikio, and the result came out 2 weeks after. And it was, because it was sealed, I was supposed to just take it to the doctor. On my way that day, I just thought to myself, why would anybody give me anything about myself and I can't look at it? So I opened it. I was driving. I don't know how I drove home. Because the first thing I saw was malignant. The first time I had malignant was in my primary 6. I knew what malignant was. But at that moment, I didn't want to understand what malignant was. But I couldn't drive properly. I knew I just got home, half-minded.
Devastated.
And that was how my story started. Then I had to go and look for this man. I just met him. I met him that very morning when he did the surgery. In fact, I met him when we entered the theater. By the time I got to him, what he was telling me he wanted to do again. At that time, I'd known that they were using me to do PP. And something was not right, What he said he wanted to do again, I just got up. And when I was leaving, was if you leave and it gets worse, I'm not going to touch you again. I just walked out of his hospital. Yes. I just walked out of his hospital. And I never came back. And from then, I just believe that we do not have an oncologist. We do not have oncologists in Nigeria. We do not have hospitals in Nigeria. All the results. That was my belief.
Yours was 12 years ago. Hopefully things have improved.
Lawal, you're a very strong woman.
So I just made up my mind that we didn't have a hospital in Nigeria, and there was no way we could treat it. So I started trying to travel. Apparently, I'd been traveling before then.
Okay, we only have 1 minute left, please. I
Okay.
need you to please tell me the most difficult part of your journey and to recovery.
That was the most difficult part of my journey.
The thought of losing your breast.
The thought of losing my breast, one. The thought of the fact that I had cancer, cancer, how, where's it from?
But what about chemo and when you lost your hair?
At the time, it took me like 2 years before I started treatment.
Like I said, I'm
I was
so proud
just
of
so
you.
lucky.
You've
I
done
was
so
just
well.
lucky. And I think a lot of things cost that. One, I guess God needed me to pass messages afterwards. That was why I had to go through this kind of whatever.
Did you get emotional support? Did you have people around you?
At the time that I got diagnosed,
uplifted
people
your
were not
spirits?
talking about cancer like this openly. When people have cancer, they would go abroad, go treat. If they survive, you come back, you see them. If they don't survive, then you hear they died of
But
cancer.
were you in any group of survivors?
There was no group at that time. There were no
So
groups.
you
There
had
were
no
not.
support
Probably
system.
there were groups, you know, but they were not this, you know.
This is part of why you founded
Exactly.
the
That was how I
Cancer
founded that Tinuke
Foundation, which is
Foundation.
So how have you been able
Exactly.
to encourage those that have gone through what you're going through now from the experience that you have had?
A lot
What
of
do you tell them?
awareness
I have
programs.
used my experience and I've used all that I faced as a journalist. That was the first thing that came to my mind from the time I started going to Luth in 2016 and seeing that our health sector was nothing to write home about. I needed to help other people so that they wouldn't get into my my kind of situation, because I know that taking so long, 2 years to treat, was just that God. It was just because God had my life.
Thank you so much.
Yes. If not, because we had 3 people who had just 3 months or 6 months and they didn't survive it.
Well, thanks so much for being an advocate
Thank
for
you,
this.
thank
And
you. Thank
sometimes
you,
when you talk about these things, it's always best to talk to somebody that has worn those shoes. There's only so much anybody can tell you. If you haven't walked down that path, you can't have first-hand experience.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words of wisdom and your words of encouragement.
Thank you.
I mean, we know that you're living here, having inspired 1 or 2 people that are watching this show at this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sue.
for
Thank you
coming.
very much.
Thank you.
And then one last word. I would like to let everybody know that I've been doing this for the past 6 years when I started the foundation. Every year we give free health check. We support cancer patients.
Thank you.
We go to every year in Luth. I have always supported people at the end of the year.
Way
and
to
then
go.
this October, we're having a walk. It's a grand walk that has never been done in Nigeria.
That's
We're inviting everybody on the 29th
We will
of
be there.
Yeah,
I did
29th
get
of
excited.
October.
29th of
Yes.
October. Quickly say where?
It's going to be at the JJT Park, the one opposite the House of
JJT
Assembly.
Park, 29th
We've done that
October.
several
Thank
times
you
already. This is
so
going to be a
much
better
for the
one.
We'll be there.
Thank you very much.
I will be
You're
there to
welcome.
support you the best way we
Thank
can.
you.